Guys, I am a sucker for a good hunting boot. I think a good hunting boot is really the most important piece of gear to a backcountry hunter. Out in the mountains, your feet are your mode of transportation, and without quality care of them, you're really going nowhere. And I really think the basic building blocks of that kind of start with a good boot. Now with that, I want to enter the Altitude GTX from Crispi. Now I've had these boots for about a year and a half. I've put them through everything from Montana stream crossings to rocks and cactus needles here in Arizona. I've really put them through the paces. And today I kind of want to talk to you about my longer term review of them. So let's start with some basics on this boot. Now they are made by Crispi over in Italy. So if you're looking for an American made company, this isn't going to be where to start, but I can promise you that they're really high-end boots across the Crispi line. Crispi announced these 8-inch uninsulated boots probably about 2 years ago. They come in sizes from 8 all the way up to 14, and they come in 2 different widths, as well as 2 different colors. I have the brown, they also come in olive. The olive I've seen in person, it looks pretty cool. I just ended up going with the brown. Now for you ounce counting hunters, these bad boys aren't too bad. They're about just under 3 pounds for both boots in the pair. And when you're looking at the grand scheme of things in hunting boots, that's about mid-range. But let's talk about the most important thing with these, and that's the price. They are a little bit steep, all right? Crispi advertises them for $365. But I will say if you look around online a little bit, I've seen them as low as right around $300. Definitely not cheap, but I really do believe they're worth it. So now that you kind of know everything about them, what's my experience with them? Well, I can tell you I've been using Crispi boots for about 6 years now, and I've been really impressed with them. Don't have a lot of bad things to say about them. I try and get a lot of people actually to go to them. They hold up really well and they're really comfortable. And these Altitude GTXs kind of keep with that same molding. Out of the box, these needed very little break-in. All right, I've never had a blister with them, and throughout their life, they've done a really good job of being comfortable. At the end of the day, I don't have nearly as much foot fatigue and ankle fatigue as I think I have with other brands. And again, that's a kind of glowing endorsement to Crispi, but these Altitude GTXs are right along that same path. I've really been impressed with their comfort. Now that's not to say that they're perfect. I will say that if I have a day that has a lot of downhill slopes, that I start to get some hot spots towards the front of my foot. But again, never turned into blisters, just kind of a little bit uncomfortable, but nothing I can't work through. Now Crispi advertises this sole stiffness as about a 2.5, which their scale goes from 1 to 5. So that is right dead center in the middle. And I really think that is a perfect sweet spot. These soles really do a lot to let me feel the ground beneath me, but they're not so soft that if I'm going over sharp rocks or something, that is a painful experience, which is, like I said, really in that sweet spot that I'm looking for. Now in the past, I've owned the Crispi Laponias. I think those are a 2 on the flex rating, and I can tell you they were a little bit too soft for me. Now on the other end, Scott owns the Crispi Thors. They're a 4, and he says quite often that the soles are a little bit too hard and can't really feel what he's walking across beneath him. So really take that number rating as kind of gospel when it falls right in the middle. It's probably going to be the best of both worlds. But guys, if I'm spending $300+ on boots, the big thing I'm concerned about is durability, all right? And these have really done a great job. I have almost no complaints about them. I don't have any seams that are falling apart, nothing's starting to split, and they continue to chew through stream crossings and rain and remain perfectly waterproof. Don't have a lot of complaints about durability. Really the only thing on these boots that's starting to fall apart is the laces, and those are incredibly easy to replace. Now, as with any review, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, okay? There are a couple of drawbacks on this, and the first one is the insoles. I don't think Crispi makes a great insole. To be honest, I don't know a lot of factories that do, but almost the first thing to go on these boots every time when I get new Crispis is their insole, and I replace them with some super feet. Now that probably lends to the comfort a little bit. I don't know that they would be as comfortable for me if I left the factory insoles in, but it's just something for you guys to consider. Beyond that, my other complaint is sometimes, every once in a while, as my foot's kind of shifting around in these boots, which they do with any boot, no matter how tight you tie them, I find the toe box is a little bit small. Now, I do have D boots, so maybe going up to the double E would be a little bit better on that. but it's just something for you guys to consider. Beyond that, they run pretty true to size. I range between a 10.5 and an 11, and I have these in 11 and they're about perfect lengthwise. That's kind of the down and dirty on these boots after about a year and a half of use. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about them. Definitely way more good than bad. So, I'm not telling everyone to run out and spend $300 on hunting boots. But if you have that money and you're looking into these, it's probably gonna be money well spent. You're gonna enjoy these. They're very, very comfortable boots, and they've really done my feet well in the backcountry. Now we're at the end of the video and I realize I've now been rude. I'm Matt with Deer and Donuts. Nice to meet you. If you're new to the channel, jump on down, hit that subscribe button. We do a ton of gear reviews, and we really like to cover gear that you guys want to see. So if you want to see anything, jump on down in the comments. Doesn't matter what hunting related gear it is. Doesn't have to be boots. Let me know. We'll see if we can facilitate. But until my next video, which I hope to see you at, goodbye.